Yes, very good afternoon, children. Hope you are all very well. Wish me back by raising your hands. Yes, wish me back. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, children. See, in our previous period, we have started a new lesson, no, in economics. What was our lesson, children? It is money and credit. So, in our previous period, we have understood what is money. So, we have understood that money is something which is widely accepted as a means of payment. Okay. So, it is accepted as a means of payment, measure of value, and even store of value. Something that is accepted widely for all these purposes. That is called what, children? Money. We have seen the definition given by Robertson also there. Then we have also seen how Geoffrey Crowther, he says how money is very important concept in the economics, how it is a basic invention in the field of economics that we have understood. Then children, we have discussed about steps in evolution of money. So Pratham Pandit, what is barter system? Pratham Pandit.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, what is barter system?
Mataji, I forgot.
You forgot. That is very easy, no? Akshay, what's barter system?
Exchanging of
Exchange of goods, Mataji.
Exchange of goods for goods. Remember this, very easy, Mari. Should not forget this. Somewhat common sense like. So barter system means exchange of goods for goods.
Goods.
It is the first step. Yes, exchange of goods for goods is the first step in evolution of money. And then in barter system, there were many problems, right? So can Siri explain me the problems in barter system?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, can you explain me what are the problems? What were the problems in barter system?
It was a difficult method for trade. It was a difficult method for trade. For example, if one had cow and if he wanted sheep,
Yes, he had to.
then he had to sell his cow, and the question arises for how many sheep.
Yeah. So if
Hence, it had many deficiencies.
yes, see here, if one person has got sheep and if he wanted cow, then he had to search a person who had got cow and who was in need of sheep. Okay, so as barter system was exchange of goods for goods. So if one person is in need of sheep and he owns a cow, then what he had to do? He had to search a person who was in need of cow and who had got sheep which he was ready to sell, right? So that was the main problem. Then finally, if he became or if he became able in searching the person who was in need of cow and who has got sheep to sell, then what is the value of cow if compared to sheep? That was the next problem. So barter system was a great problem, but it was the first step in the evolution of money. When nothing was there, barter system, at least it was there. So it was the first step in evolution of money. Now, what is the second step in evolution of money? Sumit, what is the second step in evolution of money? Very easy question, no? Not difficult at all. Sumit, can you tell me what is the second step in evolution of money? Sumit, can you speak to me? Yeah, Sumit. Yes, otherwise Sahana, can you do it? Sahana, can you speak to me?
Metallic money.
Metallic money is the third step. Metallic money is the third step. What is the second step, Sahana? You are missing the second step.
Commodity money.
Yes, that is the second step.
Commodity money.
Yes. Commodity money is the second step. Here, a particular commodity with standard weight, okay, or standard size was considered as money, and anything was exchanged in the what? In the means of that commodity. That was commodity money. But again, commodity money was a problem. In different states, different commodities were used as money. No, so in China, what was that, Nitin? Nitin, in China, what was that? Yeah, should be active. You should be alert and active, children. Whenever your name is taken, you should be able to answer. Yeah, otherwise, Vidya?
Yes, ma'am.
In China, what was considered as commodity money? Which teeth was considered as money in China, no? What about Rome? Yashaswini? What about Rome? What was considered as money? Which commodity was considered as money?
Sheep.
Sheep was considered as money. Yes, Sinchana D, but what about Greece? Sinchana?
Yesterday I was absent.
Yesterday you were absent. Okay, Sinchana, yes, but. Sinchana, yes, but. Which commodity was considered as money? Otherwise, Nagraj. Nagraj? Nagraj, please answer me. I'm waiting for you. Has he got network? No problem with network. No, Nagraj? Where are you? I'm in search of Nagraj. Yes, Mahesh? Mahesh and Rajesh. Which commodity was used as money in Greece?
Cattle.
Yes. Mahesh, can you answer me? Rajesh. Cattle, exactly. Cattle was used as money in Greece, no? Yes. So commodity money, to carry these cattle or sheep from one place to another place, it was difficult. Then second thing is teeth. Availability of teeth in needed quantity, that was also difficult, no? That's why commodity money was replaced by what as the third step in evolution of money. Soumya Hegde, which is the third step in evolution of money?
Metallic money.
Exactly, metallic money. Soumya, can you tell me few advantages of metallic money, how it was better than commodity money?
It was easily divisible, portable, and more convenient in making payments.
Exactly, easily divisible, convenient in making payment. Then one more thing, it is portable. See, 3 points you have to write in the form of points, children. Advantages of metallic money: easily divisible, Soumya told, portable, and they were convenient in making payment. Okay. Then which are the standard, or which were the most important things that worked as advantageous for metallic money? Yes, Soumya Bhatt, are you there? Soumya Bhatt.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, other important advantages of metallic money. Three things are there that you are expected to tell. Yes, Nutan. Nutan.
Metallic money fit so it can last long.
Okay, you have little weak network there. Thank you for attempting. Okay. Yeah, Aniket. Which 3 points you have to write? You are supposed to write first. Advantages of metallic money. Aniket? Yes, Aniket. Otherwise, Anvit Banwasi. Banwasi Anvit.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, tell me.
They were
Advantage.
generally accepted.
Exactly.
Generally accepted.
Generally accepted. Then other two things. Which are the other two advantages?
They have standard weight and fineness.
Yes. Okay. See, 6 points you can write here while writing about advantages of metallic money. First of all, they had got standard weight, right? They had got standard weight. Then they were durable, fine and fit for a long time. Then third thing, they were generally accepted. See, in each and every corner of the world, these metals have their own value, right? So they were generally accepted. Then they could be, with the help of this coin, with the help of these metals, coins of different denominations, means 10 rupee coin, 100 rupee coin, 50 rupee coin, like that, coins of different denominations could be minted. So that is fourth one. Then fifth one, easily divisible. Sixth one, portable. Seventh one, it was easy to make payment with the help of this metallic money. For these reasons, metallic money was better than commodity money. Okay. Then next step, children, which is the fourth important step in evolution of money. Fourth important step in evolution of money. Pratham Bhatt.
Yes, Mataji.
Fourth step in the evolution of money.
Paper money.
Paper money was the fourth step. Okay. What was the problem with this metallic money? Pratham Bhatt, can you tell me? Problem with metallic money.
It is heavy to carry many coins.
Ah,
Large amounts of coins cannot be shifted from one place to another.
yeah, but better, which is the what was the most important problem there? It was not safe to carry, right? So it was not safe to carry this metallic money from one place to another place, right? They have to carry it in bag or in pots and all, no? That's why it was not safe to carry it from one place to another place. And with that, what else was the problem? It was quite heavy to carry it from one place to another. So important problem is problem was it was not safe to carry it from one place to another. Okay, yeah. Then next one, fifth step after paper money. Paper money was introduced. You should remember about what, children? Promissory note. So promissory note was the paper money issued by the government in the beginning. So in the beginning, who started it? It was money lenders. It was a private banker. They were private bankers who started to issue the letter of credit there. Then afterwards, what happened? Government did that, and it became popular as promissory note. Okay. Then next one, the government established central banks, and these central banks, they minted coins and currencies. They printed the coins and currencies. Then in different nations, what are they called by different names? So that we have understood. What is it called in USA? What is it called in England? And who will tell me what is it called in Japan? What is the currency of Japan called? Yes, Akshay.
Yeah.
Yen. It is called yen. And what is the currency of China called? Who will tell me the answer? Currency of China. Yes, currency of China. Sumukh Hegde.
Yuan.
Yuan. It is called yuan. Okay. So these are this is the fourth step, no? Then fifth step is bank money. And also we have discussed about plastic money. So plastic money means your ATM cards, debit cards and credit cards, with the help of which you can swipe on the machine there, and your amount in your account will be transferred to that person's account. So this is how you have plastic money also today. So plastic money is also called e-money because here the transaction take place with the help of internet. That's why they are called e-money. Okay, why the plastic money? is also called e-money. That can be 1 mark question for your examination, in your examination. Okay. Yes. Today children, after that, after this one, evolution of money, we have discussed about primary function and secondary function of money. No. So here, in primary function you have 2 points and in secondary function you have 3 points, where you will get a question for 3 marks, and definitely it is going to be going to be bitty marks for you. Pukkate you will get 3 marks. So primary function, means of exchange, right? Second point is measure of value. Then secondary function you have 3 points again. Standard of deferred payment. Here by the word deferred we mean future payment. Then afterwards standard of whatever transfer of value and store of value. 3 points. In secondary function you can write standard of deferred payment, then transfer of value, then store of value. These are the 3 secondary functions of money. So what are the functions of money? That is very important question for your examination. You don't have to explain, just write primary function, 2 points there, just write secondary function, there you write 3 points, you will get 3 marks there. Okay, then afterwards we have to discuss about, in today's period we have to discuss about children, your banks. Already we have discussed in detail about banks in banking transaction lesson in your business studies, but let us just have a look over some important points here. So first of all, Indian banks, all the banks of India, they are regulated by one act called Banking Regulation Act. Okay, you know the meaning of regulate. No, what is the meaning of regulating? Akshay, do you remember? What is the meaning of regulating? To regulate means what? Who remembers? Yes?
It comes under same rule.
Okay, okay. Karthik P. Hegde, do you know the meaning of to regulate? Do you remember? We have learned, no, the Regulating Act of 1773. We have learned, no, children? Yeah, who will tell me? Yes, Ashwit will do. Ashwit, what is the meaning of regulating? Very easy. If you have forgotten, we have to remember that and we have to move on.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, what is the meaning of regulating?
Hello.
Hello, yeah, I can hear you, Ashwit. To regulate means what? Okay, yeah, shall I get the answer from, yeah, shall I get the answer from Anjali? To regulate means what, Anjali?
Actually, I don't know.
You don't know. What's that? What's that message? Karthik.
Control.
Yeah. Karthik Hegde has messaged the answer. See, to regulate means to control. Everybody please remember, to regulate means to control. The act which was passed by the British government to control the activities of East India Company in India. To control. Okay, it was called Regulating Act. No, here also you can see Banking Regulation Act 1949, to regulate the activities, to control the activities of banks. This act was passed. So, Banking Regulation Act of 1949. Now everybody got the meaning of regulating. Yes, Anjali, what is the meaning of regulating? To regulate means?
Control.
Exactly. Okay. To regulate means, yes, Preeti. Preeti,
Yes, Mataji.
regulate means?
To control.
Remember this, okay? So, Banking Regulation Act was passed in the year 1949. So, Banking Regulation Act of 1949, it defines banking company like this, okay? So, banking company is any company that transacts the business of banking in India. So, according to Banking Regulation Act of 1949, so any institution, any company that carries on the banking business in India, it is called banking company by this act. Now, what does this banking mean? We have understood that banking company is a company that transacts or that carries on the business of banking in India, right? What does this banking mean? So, you know, bank means an institution that accepts a deposit from the public and that lends a loan, that gives a loan to the public. ಹೌದಾ? ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿನ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಪಾಸಿಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಆ ಡಿಪಾಸಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಲೋನ್ ಮೂಲಕ ಕೊಡೋದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ Banking Regulation Act of 1949, children, I hope it is visible to you all. So it defines banking as, banking is accepting, okay, accepting for the purpose of lending or investment. Accepting of what? Accepting of deposits from the public for the purpose of lending or investment, which is repayable on demand or otherwise withdrawable by checks, drafts, order, or otherwise. See, what is banking according to Banking Regulation Act 1949? So, banking is accepting for the purpose of lending, okay? Accepting for the purpose of lending or investment of deposits from the public, which is repayable on demand, ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ವಾಪಸ್ ಸಿಗುವಂತದ್ದು, or otherwise withdrawable by checks, drafts, order, or otherwise. That is called what, children? Banking. Okay, banking is accepting for the purpose of lending or investment. Accepting what? Accepting of deposits. From whom? From the public. And that accepted deposit is repayable on demand. Okay. Otherwise, it is withdrawable with the help of checks, drafts, order, or otherwise. It is called banking by Banking Regulations Act of 1949. So there are number of banks in India and we have 20 banks under public sector. How many public sector banks are there? 20. Okay, there are 20 public sector banks and these 20 public sector banks, see, among these 20 public sector banks, 14 were nationalized in the year 1969. Okay, in the year 1969, 14 banks were nationalized and in the year 1980, other 6 banks were nationalized. And here we have, I have written 2 important banks. SBI, everybody knows. SBI's full form is State Bank of India. No. Is there anybody who knows the full form of RRB? RRB. Who will tell me the full form of RRB? Chanda Bank. RRB. Chanda Bank. Easy to remember also. Can anybody guess? So nobody knows? It's okay. If you do not know, children, then I will tell you. Yeah. Has anybody messaged? What he has messaged?
Regional.
Exactly. Who else have messaged there? Yeah. See here. RRB means what, children? Regional Rural Banks. Remember this. RRB means Regional Rural Banks. ಚಂದ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಇದು, ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಪಟ್ಟೆ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೋನ್ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫೀಲ್ಡಿಗೂ, ಅಗ್ರಿಕಲ್ಚರಿಗೆ, ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಗೆ, ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಈವನ್ ರಸ್ತೆಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದು ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟಿಗೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಬ್ಸಿಡಿ ಕೂಡ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನ್ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಬರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, RRB ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ಇಂದ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಇನ್ಫ್ರಾಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ವೇರ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಕಟ್ಸುವಂತದ್ದು ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ರಸ್ತೆ ಮಾಡಿಸುವಂತದ್ದು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ನಬಾರ್ಡ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಹಂಗೆ ಈ RRBs ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದ ಫುಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ RRB. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ Regional Rural Bank. Sudhanma, can you tell me the full form of RRB? Sudhanma, do you have a network there? He is not there. What happened to Sudhanma? Has not informed me also. What about Shreya Bhatt? If Shreya Bhatt is there, Sudhanma should be there. Is she there, Shreya Bhatt? Has she got network or any network problem is there? Network problem is there, okay, which they are. Then let me get answer from Kavya. Is there Kavya? Yes, Kavya, can you speak to me? Kavya, what is the full form of RRB? Kavya cannot speak. Okay, who will tell me the full form of RRB now? Raise your hands and answer me. Yes, who are ready to tell me the full form of RRB now? Yes, Sai Priya. Sai Priya?
Regional Rural Bank.
Yes, Regional Rural Bank is correct answer. Kripa? Kripa, repeat the full form of RRB.
Regional Rural Bank.
Regional Rural Bank. Remember this, okay? Sriharsh,
Yes, Mataji.
full form of RRB.
Regional Rural Bank.
Okay, Sriharsh, tell me the full form of NABARD also. Do you remember? Now leave your hands down and tell me who are ready to tell me the full form of NABARD. If Shri Harsha is unable to tell, who will tell me the full form of NABARD? Yes, Rashmi can do that. Yes, Rashmi.
National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development.
Yes, remember children. So NABARD is National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development. Very important one. So everyone should be able to remember the full form of NABARD. In the banking sector, it is considered as one of the most important banks. Okay, the bank which was established by Central Government of India for the purpose of agricultural and rural development. So it carries on many important works which helps in economic development of India. So bank on the Takshana, RBI, SBI, NABARD, then RRBs, then state financial corporations, IDBI, ಅದೆಲ್ಲವೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು. You should know the full form of all these things, okay? So NABARD, then we have RRBs that we have understood, okay? Now, let us come to the importance of bank. So here again, this can be 3 marks important question for you. Explain the importance of banks ಅಂತ. ಈಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಓಪನಿಂಗ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ಅದನ್ನ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೀಬಹುದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ, ಹೌದಾ? So accepting they accept deposits from the public, they lend money to the people who are in need, so they give high rate of interest for fixed deposit, then they lend money to the farmers at low rate of interest, they provide bills of exchange facility, okay? So this is how. Then they provide loans for the development of agriculture, industry and tertiary sector. They help in capital mobilization. How they help in capital mobilization, that you know, no? So from the banks motivate each and every person to save money. The small amount of money saved by every person, what it becomes a big pool, right? It becomes a big pool and you will get a big capital there. So how banks help in capital mobilization? So these points explain the importance of bank. As we have already discussed about this one in detail in our previous classes, I am not going to discuss about it now. Okay, now coming to Reserve Bank of India. Does anybody in the class remember on which date or in which year Reserve Bank of India was established? When was RBI established? Is there anybody in the class who remembers when was RBI established? Already we have learned one lesson, that is again constitutional development. So okay, if you have forgotten, then I will tell you the answer, children. It was established in the year 1935. Is there any problem? So it was established, children, in the year 1935 on April 1st. ಮೂರ್ಖರ ದಿನದಂದು ನಮ್ಮ RBI ಅನ್ನ ಎಸ್ಟಾಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. RBI of India was established in the year 1935 on April 1st, and it was nationalized in the year 1949 on January 1st. Remember this. Will you say yes by raising your hands? Huh? Yes, thank you very much. Now some 4 students have to repeat when was RBI established. First of all, it will be done by, yes, Shantika. Shantika?
Yes, ma'am.
When was RBI established?
First 35.
April 1st, 1935. Yes, Shanvi? When was RBI established, Shanvi? Shanvi is there. If one don't know, Shanvi is not there. Okay. Then Vaishnavi GM. Yes, Vaishnavi, when was RBI established?
1st April 1935.
Yes, 1st April 1935. Your answer is correct. Then shall we give chance to Animesh? Animesh from Narayana Gurunagar will answer Divya Mataji's question now. Animesh, you are there now, Marie? Animesh will answer me. Okay, if Animesh cannot answer, then I have to give chance to Dhruva. Dhruva will answer me. With the hope that Dhruva will answer me, the question is passed to Dhruva. Dhruva?
1935.
Year 1935, but date
April 1st.
April 1st. Okay. When was it nationalized? Dhruva, continue. When was RBI nationalized? Yes, Akshay is there. Yes.
1949.
1949. Dhruva, date? January 1st. It was nationalized on January 1st, 1949. Okay. Then I'll give next chance to Tejasvi Surya. Has Tejasvi Surya joined the class, Akshay? Is he there in the class?
Yes, Mataji.
Now, can you tell me when was RBI established and when was it nationalized?
1935 April 1st established.
Okay.
1949 January 1st nationalized.
Yes, very nice. Okay, thank you very much. Your answer is correct. Remember, 1935. The Government of India Act 1935 was passed. No, that act established Reserve Bank of India. Government of India Act 1935. It was passed by the British government. Government of India Act 1935 established Reserve Bank of India in the year 1935 on April 1st. And the same Reserve Bank of India, it was nationalized in the year 1949. And when it was established, in the year 1935, it was called Federal Bank. It was not called, children, your Reserve Bank of India, then it was called Federal Bank. So now the meeting is going to end. So that's why what shall we do? Let us end the meeting here and let us rejoin with the same link and let us be very quick.